came in from the northeast, but none of this is matching up. Not quite sure where. Oh, hi there, and welcome to this second video in the Final Cut Pro tutorial series. If you haven't yet seen part 1, I recommend starting at the top of this playlist and then meeting back up with us right here. Let's talk about the power of film and video editing. It has been said there are two types of editors in this world. Trust me, the larger and more complex your projects become, the more critical a consistent file structure will be. As you can imagine, this video picks up where part 1 left off. We'll be starting with an overview of Final Cut Pro's unique library framework, followed by an orientation of the most important aspects of the editing interface. Because, you know, being lost in a large, complex tool like Final Cut Pro isn't fun for anyone. So, I believe the main trail is that way. But the more I look at this, it could be that way. You know, it doesn't matter. Together, we'll figure this out. Come on, it'll be fun. When compared to more traditional editing software like Avid or Premiere Pro, a few related aspects that make Final Cut Pro unique are libraries, events, projects, and keywords. Let's take a look at what each of these are and how they relate to one another. Starting at the top, a Final Cut library tracks all of our media files and associated metadata. Think of it as a master database that holds everything together. Now, if you are coming from more traditional editing software, a Final Cut library is equivalent to what they might call a project. Now, a project inside of Final Cut is something very different, which we'll get to in a second. But first, let's talk about events. Within a library, we have events. Events are essentially containers to hold and organize clips of media. Going back to traditional editing software, events are equivalent to bins. All media clips must live within an event. All events must live within a library. Within Final Cut Pro, a project refers to what traditional editing software would call a sequence or timeline. Now, like media clips, all projects must also live inside of an event. As an event grows in size and complexity, we can of course break it up into several smaller events. This is great for major groupings of media like A-roll and B-roll. But for now, when we would like to subdivide assets within the same event, we can use keywords. Keywords are extremely flexible because, unlike a traditional folder or directory structure, any number of keywords can be assigned to a given clip or project. From an organizational standpoint, this opens up a near infinite number of possibilities that we can take advantage of. For example, we can assign a descriptive keyword to all of our medium close-up shots. Then assign keywords based on the characters or subjects that appear in each shot. Add shooting locations, maybe scene numbers, and then when you are looking for all the medium close-ups of Leslie at the lighthouse, just simply select those keyword groupings together and the browser will filter out everything that doesn't belong. We can even save that search criteria as a smart collection. Then in the future, when we need it again, we won't have to recreate it. And as a bonus, smart collections will automatically update themselves each time content is added to our library. Very helpful. Now, where were we? Of course, the main trail. Now, based on where we've been and where we're going, I'm quite sure. I'm pretty sure it's that way. Come on. like I said, this way. As you might be aware, macOS Finder gives us the ability to label files with any number of tags. These Finder tags can be extremely useful if we need to group related media, regardless of its location, within our file system. I bring this up because during import, Final Cut has the ability to identify media that has been labeled with these Finder tags, and then convert those tags to keywords. Good to know whether you or someone on your team has already used Finder tags to organize media. Plus, keep in mind that whoever does this work doesn't even have to have Final Cut installed on their Mac. Just something to consider when designing your workflow and file structure. As we get into Final Cut itself, we'll see that it also has the ability to create keywords based on our folder hierarchy. This can be used in addition to or independent from Finder tags. But before we trek deeper into the specifics of Final Cut Pro's interface, make sure you're subscribed, because the next video in this series builds on the concepts and terminology covered here. Thank you so much for watching, and if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and let us know in the comments. It's a big help to small channels like ours. We are very much looking forward to seeing you next time. And who knows, by then, maybe I will have finally come across this elusive main trail. Take care. So I'm standing here waiting for the light. A few minutes ago it was beautiful, and then the fog rolled in, and you can see that we have no background. There's a beautiful lake and trees behind me, but with all the fog and the sun being behind this fog, it just isn't it's not a usable shot as of right now. I'll give it a few more middens, see what happens. We may have to come back tomorrow. That's unfortunate, but these things happen. It's one of the downsides of shooting in natural light. I lost the marker.